Hello, everybody, and welcome to the first episode of the What Do podcast. And in this show, we talk about how to do things when you don't know how to. Let me just start by talking about a little bit how it originated and then what the show is about overall. When it comes to life, there's so much shit that goes on in life, and it's really hard to figure out exactly what it is that you should do. And I'm pretty young, but I feel that I've been presented with a lot of conflicting ideas, conflicting situations in which I just had to say, you know what, fuck it, I'm gonna do this, right? And throughout those experiences, I've learned to, deal with those in a certain way. So, for example, if someone comes up to me and asks me, like, hey, my relationship is not working, it feels weird, what do I do? It's at that point I tell you what do. And so, my friends and I have this saying that we say when we meet up and we try to hang out. We don't know what the hell we're doing. It's like we'll meet up and we'll be like, we're gonna go eat, we're gonna go drink, are we gonna go party, are we just gonna sit around and play Modern Warfare? I don't know. What do? So we just say what do. And so from that, I took that concept and I thought, why not turn it to a little show in which I can, express my creativity and kind of decompress and, start a little community. So I think that would be great. And so that is the goal of the show is to have, a lot of people just asking, for advice, essentially. I like giving advice. I love doing that shit. And so the show was born. The What Do podcast. I got a little thing back here. It's one of those color changing text things that you see at Bed Bath and Beyond or your little knickknack shop. So, anyways, in this show, we're gonna talk about basically what it is you should do in a given circumstance, and the way that you can do that is by going onto our YouTube channel and leaving a comment. And then I'll just pick from the comments, a few questions, and then I'll give my advice as to what it is you should do in the What Do podcast. So, since this is the first episode, there's not much to give advice about. So, I'm just going to give my own situations until somebody else does, because you know how this goes. It's a new podcast, so. We're also on Spotify and iTunes, and I don't know what else I can probably get this show on. But I'm going to try and diversify the podcast as much as I can. It'll be on YouTube and, like I said, Spotify, iTunes. I don't know what else I can get it on, but we'll see. And so hopefully you guys are enjoying this. Hopefully it sounds good, because I'm using an alright mic, but, hey, you got to start the show somewhere, right? And hey, no ads. That's beautiful. No ads for now. Okay, so today's Christmas. I'm recording this on the 25th. It's Christmas. It's mother effing Christmas. So Merry Christmas to everybody. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Merry Christmas. Hopefully y'all's was a little better than mine. Unfortunately, my family's going through rough times right now, and Christmas this year was just kind of like family get together, which is great. I love that. I just love getting together, talking to the family, and just getting to meet everybody again and just catching up and all that, which is nice. I love doing that. Drinking's part of it too. Oh man. And I'm Hispanic, and so Hispanic people tend to gather on the 24th, stay up till midnight, and celebrate Christmas that way. Other people wake up and, on the 25th in the morning, open up gifts. Other people don't celebrate Christmas at all. So if you don't celebrate Christmas at all, I'm so sorry. But this is what we're talking about today. And, when I was younger, I would always wonder, because I was little, gifts are amazing. And so I'd be like, I wonder what I'll get next year. And then, next year would come by and I'd be like, you know what? My prediction was totally wrong. and it's always wrong. It is always freaking wrong. I'm always like trying to see what I'll get next year and next year and next year, but I'm to the age where it's like I wonder what will happen next year. Not what I'll get, what will happen, because so much shit happens now. Now that I'm older, um, so that's what that is. There, it's just growing up, and so I like I said, I think I have a lot of insight in terms of like just life in general. I'm not saying like I know everything. I'm just saying at least I can give you my educated point of view as to what it is that's going down. So I'm traveling to Iowa. I live in Dallas, Texas, and I'm traveling up to Iowa. Sioux City, Iowa. Jeez, that's quite the drive, don't you think? It's 10 hours, maybe a little more. I don't know exactly, but it's around that. And that's a long ass drive. And I've never driven that far. The furthest I've driven was to Florida, which is also 10 hours, but I didn't drive the 10 hours on my own. It was separated, and so I drove maybe 4 hours at a time. So I drove maybe 2 4 hour shifts, meaning eight, and I slept in between. And then, that was all right. It wasn't too bad. It was kind of fun. But this Iowa trip, man, I'm going on my own, and it kind of worries me. Worries me because my car is a 2017 Ford Fusion, and it's front wheel drive, which is better than rear wheel drive if you're gonna drive in snow and ice and things like that. But my tires are really, really shitty all season tires. And so my conflict is, should I get winter tires, and then once I come back to Texas where it's not icy and cold like that, should I switch back to the all seasons? I don't know. It's just a big old mess. Part of me just says, hey, fuck it, risk it, like you just like the tire tread depth is good, but from what I've read online about the tires, not so great. And I don't want to slip and slide in the ice. I've done that before. And so that's not something that I want to do. And so for those of you out there that travel a lot, road trips and stuff, you guys know how it is. You have to get your car inspected. You have to make sure that everything's in tip-top shape before you travel that far, because you don't want anything, going wrong. And so this is my first solo trip. And so I've asked around, and I've gotten the consensus that the tires that I have will do. I'll just have to drive really carefully. But then part of me just says, dude, just get the winter tires, and then when you come back, drive on those for a while, and then just buy all seasons again. I don't know. It's just crazy. If I were rich, like David Dorbick rich, I'd probably have a separate car for the winter and drive that up there, like a Tesla with snow tires. It's probably what I'll get. One day, I don't know. You never know. I don't think you ever know. I think we're going to switch topics here. I think a lot of people join YouTube or start doing like, I guess podcasts, YouTube, Twitter, TikTok, all that kind of crap. They'll start it, and see people like David Dorbick, Casey Neistat, I don't know, other big YouTubers, and they're like, wow, they make a lot of money, and I want to make a lot of money. And so they'll start this intensive long journey without even knowing that it's intensive and a long journey. These people think that they'll reach YouTube stardom, or just social media stardom by just doing a few things, and it's not like that whatsoever. It's a long, 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 thankless journey, and once you make it, sure, it's amazing, right? But before that, Fuck that. Fuck all that shit. I mean, I've tried a few times to start a long journey on YouTube, and I've started several channels, YouTube channels, and the one with the most subscribers so far has 10,000 subscribers, and that took forever. And it was going pretty well, but the key is consistency. The key is to be very, very consistent with your uploads. Interacting with your audience. Just staying up to date with the YouTube algorithms, staying up to date with the SEO, making your content easy to find, making your content actually worth watching. You need some sort of hook, not clickbait. Clickbait is, I fucking hate clickbait, but entice the viewer, but also deliver. So don't say, for example, I see a lot of, start a Shopify store and make $1 million a month. And then you watch the video, it has nothing to do with that. They're just trying to sell you a product or a service. And that's how they do it. But I think the right way to do it, if you want to start something like this, is to, entice your audience, but actually deliver. So like in this show, I'm enticing people by, I suppose, having interesting situations go down. So maybe somebody is going through, I don't know, relationship problems, and I might title the video, relationship problems or something along those lines. And then somebody that's going through that will see the video, and that will entice them. But the video will also deliver. I will actually talk about it and, actually answer the question versus just bullshitting the whole thing. So I think that's important. And I mean, that's all it comes down to. I think a lot of people just join YouTube for that sole reason. And it's like, all right, you think you're going to make a lot of money? No, whatsoever. Well, we've reached the 13-ish minute mark. I don't want to make this podcast terribly, terribly long. Usually I think they go about 30 minutes or more. But I mean, this one's just the entry, the pilot, if you will. Oh my god, have you guys watched The Mandalorian? Best show ever. I'm not even a Star Wars fan, and I love that show. God, 7 episodes so far is not enough in the first season. Need a lot more. There needs to be a lot more. And then the Star Wars movie came out, the last one that wraps everything up, at least something like that. God, I still have to go see that. Still gotta go see that. But anyways, thank you for listening to this first episode. And like I said, if you're listening this far, thank you. Second of all, you know what this show's about. It's about helping you guys out, giving you my educated advice and helping you guys live your best life. And hopefully you like the studio. I mean, it's a pretty small little thing I threw together. We got a table, got a couch, a mic, some stuff in the background, some hats, some glasses. So hopefully you guys on YouTube land, you guys like the video, and hopefully you guys listening to the podcast in your car while you eat, hopefully you guys enjoy it as well. Lots of more episodes coming. I still want to figure out a schedule as far as releasing the podcast. I think the first thing that will happen is I will start everything, and I'll figure out a schedule, let you guys know all that. And then I might have some guests up here, because listening to just me is boring as hell. So I'll probably have one of my friends come up here, and we'll talk about women or something, or how to get a job. I don't know. We'll see, whatever it is. But thank you guys for listening, And we'll see you in the next episode of the What Do podcast.